Varanasi, India is one of the oldest cities in the world and is also very poor. When I first saw images of the city, I was really drawn to the color palette of the landscape and architecture. From there, I wanted to learn more about their culture. So I sketched out a mind map of different things I could research within the city so I can break things down. I did research pages on landscapes and architecture, art forms, food, climate, traditional clothing, and spiritual beliefs. I was really drawn to the images I collected from the landscape and architecture, so I did more research pages. And I found interesting ideas through the landscape and architecture that could be transferred into fashion. For example, I got ideas of pleating, draping, print, embroidery, and also drew a color palette. So since I gathered a lot of inspiration from the landscape and architecture, I studied what I liked about it. Even though Varanasi was a very old city and it was very poor, it had a rich color palette and had really interesting elements across the city. So I came up with my concept board, and my concept was the hidden beauty within dilapidated landscapes and architecture in Varanasi, India. And I decided to push an autumn's winter menswear collection instead of a women's wear collection this time. And with my concept board, I wanted to express the oldness of the city with the rusty and ruddy tones, juxtaposed with a vibrant color palette. So MC Hammer ended up being my muse for the collection because I really loved his aesthetic and the way that he dressed, and I wanted to kind of display that throughout my collection. After my concept board, I put together my fabric board. I sourced my fabrics through move.com. Since it was an autumn-winter collection, I wanted to use a lot of warmer fabrics, such as cotton, silk, denim, velvet, and linen. When it came to selecting prints, I didn't want too many prints to clash, so I only picked a few that could be cohesive within my collection. I also picked a few buttons and trimmings. And at this time, I finalized my color palette. And I also named them Apple, Rose, Blaze, Cajun, Rust, Aqua, Olive, Denim, and Gold. When it comes to designing a collection, you also want to find more ways how you can be original when you're designing. So one way to achieve that is to create your own prints and find ways to manipulate the surface of the fabric. So with this collection, I came up with my own print and my own surface design. I decided to do a repair surface design to express the aged landscape and architecture of Varanasi, India. I wanted to deconstruct and manipulate the fabric to create something that could be more timeless and more exquisite. So basically, I hand stitched two different fabrics together, and this is what it looks like. So basically, I just took like two different shirts and kind of cut into different shapes and stitched it back together, so it can seem like it's like old. You have that like old effect to it. For my print, I referenced the culture in Varanasi. I called the print the Burning Ghat print. The Burning Ghats are stepping stones down to a river where people of Varanasi go to bathe and do rituals. So I wanted to take the details from the stones to create this print. And you guys can also pause the video at this time to read the descriptions. So now I'm going to briefly run through the 3 looks that I created for the collection. Okay, so for my first look, I used my repaired surface for a turtleneck, an apple green velvet puffer jacket with brown trimming, asymmetrical oversized shirt with denim jeans and a layered hem. And over to the right, you can see all my fabrics drawn out. For the second look, I also used another repaired surface turtleneck, but with this time I have a face covering that was appropriating for the coronavirus at the time. A sleeveless shirt with a draped neck and waistline, satin silk pleated trousers with a brown hem. And for the last look, I created a quilted vest with an oversized asymmetrically cut shirt and with the layered hem on the sleeves, slim fit pleated trousers with an orange hem. And here are all 3 of my looks together on one page. I also created 3 net-a-porter looks to enhance my design ideas. The first look represented layered oversized garments, which was inspired by the Sahus men of Varanasi. The second look, draping was a huge consideration within garments as well as conservative looks, which was inspired by the traditional clothing. And for the last look, I wanted to use a playful combination of deteriorated prints through looks to express the concept of dilapidated landscapes and architecture. So this was my fashion collection that was inspired by Varanasi, India. No, I have not made these pieces yet, but I plan on creating a collection and adding more designs to the collection. Thank you all for tuning in. My name is Dwayne Smith. Until next time.